Previous Duchess is at it again, playing the victim card, lashing out at all those horrible lies that all those people tell about her. By that, she means anything that anyone says about her
This is deeply problematic on a number of levels. Number one, here's the problem. We don't like you, Meghan Markle. We don't like you. And no amount of posting videos that you think are going to humanize you will make us like you. You've already shown us your truth.
I know. An old soul.
Anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now. You have kids, and you go, no, I share my name with my children.
Yes.
And that feels so, I didn't know how meaningful it would be to me.
I'm here with the one and only Meghan, everybody. Meghan Sussex. And
It's getting messy in Montecito. And the tea? It's scalding. Whispers are swirling about Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and some jaw-dropping questions around their children's birth records. From strange edits to official documents, to rumors of a secret surrogate, and even doubts about Harry's biological connection. This story, it's got layers. And now, royal watchers are piecing it all together like a true crime case. Why are names missing? Why do the timelines feel off? And is all of this just a series of mistakes? Or something much more calculated? Buckle up, because this royal plot twist is wilder than fiction.
Is Her Montecito Majesty really maintaining that the Hollywood Reporter's investigation into her alleged staff was all lies?
Can you tell us what it's like becoming a new mum and tell us a little bit about baby Sussex, as we're calling him?
It's magic. It's pretty amazing, and I mean, I have the two best guys in the world, so I'm really happy.
Okay, let's be real. Something about Meghan and Harry's kids just isn't adding up. And no, this isn't some royal fan fiction or petty rumor. We're talking about actual legal documents, strange edits to birth certificates, and a pattern of moves that are raising real eyebrows. Meghan had her full name completely removed from Archie's UK birth certificate. Not shortened, removed. Instead of Rachel Meghan Markle, it just says, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. That's really odd, but then just days later, she had it legally corrected. Not updated, not adjusted, corrected. That alone made people in royal watching circles sit straight up. Why would a mother erase her name off her own son's legal record and then quietly fix it?
We're just so thrilled to have our own little bundle of joy, to be able to spend some precious times with him as he slowly starts to grow up. And I hear you're off to see two special people in a minute.
Yes.
The Queen and the Duke.
Yes, and we just bumped into the Duke as we were walking by, which was so nice. So it'll be a nice moment to introduce the baby to more family, and my mom's with us as well. So it's been a really...
Now fast forward to Lilibet, and this is where things go from curious to straight up suspicious. Everyone heard she was born in California, but behind the scenes, there are whispers that the paperwork might actually link back to Colorado. And if that's true, it matters a lot. Colorado has much looser laws when it comes to surrogacy, and they make it easier for intended parents to show up on the birth certificate without mentioning the surrogate at all. That would explain a lot, especially because when Lilibet's birth certificate came out, Harry's full legal name wasn't on it. It just said, His Royal Highness, the Duke of Sussex. That sounds fancy, sure, but in the U.S., a title like that means nothing on a legal document. Try showing up at the DMV or in court saying you're the Duke of Sussex, and they'll tell you to come back with a real ID. If Harry's legal name isn't there, it could actually mean he has no official parental rights in the U.S., no custody, no authority, nothing. And it gets even messier when you look at the bigger picture. Meghan's name was included on Lilibet's birth certificate, which is the exact opposite of what she did with Archie. So now you've got one child where the mom erased herself, and another where the dad might not even be listed properly. That's not a coincidence. It's starting to look like a strategy. Add in the rumors of a 23-year-old surrogate from Colorado who supposedly signed airtight NDAs and disappeared from public view, and suddenly the dots start connecting in a very unsettling way. And guess what? That makes even more sense when you look at Colorado's laws. Unlike California, where a surrogate usually shows up on the first set of birth records, Colorado makes it easier to leave the surrogate off entirely. That means parental rights can go straight to the intended parents, no questions asked, and no names to trace. Now let's talk about Meghan's health story. She publicly claimed she suffered from postpartum preeclampsia, calling it deadly on her own podcast. That's a serious condition, something that usually means round-the-clock care, bed rest, and long hospital stays. But not long after Lilibet was born, Meghan was out and about, looking totally fine. No signs of recovery, no precautions. And Harry? He was off playing polo in Aspen, smiling like nothing happened. And if your wife had a near-death birth experience, would you really be out swinging a polo mallet and posing for pictures? It just doesn't track. And then we get to the paperwork. What people saw floating around wasn't even a certified U.S. birth certificate. It was a certificate of live birth, which is something hospitals give out just to show the baby was born alive. It's not the final legal record. That comes from the state later. But here's the weird part. That final version, no one's ever seen it. Only the hospital version makes it to the press. So people started asking, was the full certificate never released? Or was there something on it that the public wasn't supposed to see? Either way, it's just another red flag in a situation already full of them. Now here's where it really starts to spiral. Harry's name, or rather, the name that's not on Lilibet's birth certificate. Without his full legal name listed, Harry could technically be seen as a legal stranger to his own daughter under U.S. law. No automatic custody, no parental authority, no legal say in emergencies, nothing. Just a fancy title. And guess what? Title means zero in an American courtroom. If it was just a mistake, why hasn't it been fixed? All it takes is a simple amendment, but years later it still hasn't happened. It's almost like someone doesn't want it corrected.
Some of the words that they still say with a British accent, so they'll say zebra. And what else do they say? They have these little moments where it comes out, because they have very American accents, but they say words that are just like him, and I think it's adorable. Zebra's a good one.
Zebra, I love it.
Now let's rewind to Archie's birth because that just adds more fuel to the fire. Meghan made the unusual move of removing her full name from his UK birth certificate. Instead of the usual legal name, she just left her title behind. Most mothers include their maiden name to make sure everything's clear for legal reasons. But Meghan did the opposite. When people asked why, she said the palace made her do it. But that only raises a bigger question. Why would the palace want to erase a mother's identity from her own child's record? It's all too weird to ignore.
And tell us a little bit about your son. What's he like? Is he sleeping well? Good baby?
Yes, he has the sweetest temperament. He's really calm and.
I don't know who he gets that from.
And he's just been the dream. So it's been a special couple days.
Who does he take after? Does he look like anyone?
We're still trying to figure that out.
Everyone says the baby's changed so much over 2 weeks. We're basically sort of monitoring how the changing process happens over this next month, really. But his looks are changing every single day.
These aren't small slip-ups. We're talking about official documents that decide who's legally connected to who. Things that impact citizenship, inheritance, succession, and custody. And when you look at the paperwork for both Archie and Lilibet, it's like they were set up to be unclear on purpose. It almost feels like Meghan is legally tied to one child and Harry to the other. What kind of family plan is that? Unless there's something major they're trying to cover up.
Meghan Markle, meet the truth. Truth, meet Meghan Markle. I don't think you know each other. In fact, I fear that you're complete strangers. Yep, the devious Duchess is at it again, playing the victim card, lashing out at all those horrible lies that all those people tell about her. By that, she means anything that anyone says about her that she doesn't like. Is Her Montecito Majesty really maintaining that the Hollywood Reporter's investigation into her alleged brutal bullying of staff was all lies? Does the self-styled Queen of California actually expect us to accept that Vanity Fair's exhaustive 8,000-word article chronicling the appalling way she reportedly treated her long-suffering employees was all lies? Yes, incredibly, it seems.
And just when you think it can't get any crazier, boom, here comes the twist. Word is Prince Harry might not even be Lilibet's biological father. Yeah, I know, it sounds wild, but stick with it. Once you stack up all those loose ends, it starts to make some sense, especially when you bring up Harry's rumored medical history. For years, insiders have quietly said that as a kid, Harry dealt with a hernia issue that allegedly affected one of his testicles. It's never been confirmed, but the whispers never died down. Now, if that condition did impact his fertility, it could explain everything. Why surrogacy might have been used, why egg and sperm donors could have come into play, and why Harry's legal name was nowhere to be found on the certificate. In the U.S., parental rights depend on biology or clear legal intent. If Harry didn't contribute DNA and didn't sign legally, he's got no claim. None. Meanwhile, Meghan made sure to include her full legal name, locking in her position. So if things ever went south between them, Harry could be completely written out of Lilibet's life with one signature. And some folks think that was the plan all along.
Created for the kids these email addresses that sort of like names again that you would never guess, that I will give them at some point in their lives when they're older. But before I go to bed almost every night, I email them.
Wow.
I email because it doesn't have to be a heavy lift, and you email them like, here's your report card from today, or oh my gosh, you said the funniest thing this morning, or here's a picture of you two having breakfast, or here's you playing with the dog. The things that you're not going to frame, the things that you're not going to put pen to paper in a journal.
People online have started noticing something strange about how Meghan treats her kids in public. There's a pattern. She always seems warmer, more attached, and more emotionally present with Lilibet than with Archie. And yeah, it's got folks asking questions. One theory floating around is that it all comes down to biology. If Lilibet was born through a surrogate, but made with Meghan's egg and a donor's sperm, she's still Meghan's biological daughter. But if Archie wasn't conceived that way, if there's no biological tie there, then the emotional distance might not be just coincidental. Harsh. But when you line up the photos, interviews, and even how they're featured in media appearances, the difference is hard to ignore.
They're showing off.
You have to do these things for the cameras, you know.
They're so busy. So busy constantly wanting to stand.
Now let's talk about timing. Meghan once shared that she had a miscarriage in July 2020. Not long after that, she was seen leaving what looked like a dental clinic. But insiders pointed out that this particular spot in Beverly Hills is actually known for high-end fertility treatments. And the pouch she was carrying, it looked exactly like the kind used to hold cold packs after egg retrieval. The whole thing seemed way too polished, like a soft launch of a new storyline. If she really just experienced a devastating loss, her calm demeanor and quick public return didn't exactly match the narrative.
The passion fruit comes up. Good with that.
Because once you get to the bottom, it tastes like a banana. Is that a look of joy? I was like, and?
I'm muted.
Dun, dun, dun. My mom has nothing to say.
I'll tell you when I'm done.
Then came the so-called birth video of Lilibet. Meghan tried to use it as proof, but it raised more questions than answers. It looked less like a real hospital birth and more like a photo shoot. There were no signs of California-type pandemic restrictions, no masks, no medical staff, no security protocols. Even the hospital where she claimed to have given birth confirmed that during that time, visitor access was extremely restricted. So how did Meghan, someone constantly watched by the press, manage to film something so perfect without breaking those rules? It just didn't add up. All of this points in the same direction. The missing names on birth certificates, the weird health timelines, the carefully curated public appearances. It's like every move is part of a bigger PR plan, a strategy to keep the real story hidden behind perfectly staged moments. And let's not forget, these aren't just any kids. They're in the royal line of succession. So this isn't just about family drama. This is about global history. And when the truth comes out, it won't just shake tabloids. It'll shake the entire monarchy. But just when you think the drama's over, Meghan drops a whole new level of chaos. Even after stepping away from royal duties and agreeing to not use those royal titles, Meghan couldn't help herself. In 2024, fans caught something wild. She sent a super fancy gift basket to her billionaire bestie, Jamie Kern Lima. But the real tea? Inside the basket was a card, and on that card, clear as day, it says, with compliments of HRH, the Duchess of Sussex. Yep, HRH. The same title she supposedly gave up, on a private note that somehow went very public. Social media went wild. People were screaming. Royal watchers were whispering loudly. And according to insiders, even Buckingham Palace wasn't exactly thrilled. And yes, there's photo evidence. So now people are asking, is she really out of the royal game or just playing a whole new one?
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now. You have kids and you go, no, I share my name with my children.
Yes.
And that feels so, I didn't know how mean.
People from Meghan's side tried to cool things down. They claimed the HRH signature was just her being nostalgic, nothing sneaky or political, just a simple throwback. But not everyone was buying it. Royal experts fired back immediately, saying it was a clear breach of the deal Meghan and Harry made with the late Queen Elizabeth. And honestly, they weren't wrong. HRH isn't some random nickname. It's a formal, royal title meant for active working royals. And let's be real, Meghan and Harry dipped 5 years ago. Between the divorce rumors and public pressure to strip their remaining titles, this one little note card may have set off a whole new wave of royal chaos. People in the UK, they've gone from annoyed to flat-out furious. The royal drama is alive, unwell, and somehow even messier than before.
I mean that.
As for Meg, her rare red carpet appearance was to support Perry's latest award, the 2024 Paley Honors Fall Gala, celebrating the media mogul who famously offered his home to the pair after their exit from the royal family. Perry revealed why in the couple's Netflix docuseries, Harry and Meghan.
They were going to cut off the money. We're going to not leave you security. We're going to do all those things to make you comply and come back. And for the both of them to have the wherewithal to say, I don't give a damn if it's the palace. I'm out of here. I applauded that.
And who could forget that 2021 Oprah interview? That wasn't just tea, it was a straight-up royal nuke. Meghan and Harry went all in, tearing down the curtain on royal life. They dragged centuries of tradition, racism, and royal silence into the spotlight. And the world was not ready for it. It was raw, it was bold, it was messy, and people could not stop watching. But the moment that really stopped everyone cold Meghan said that behind closed doors, certain royals had actual conversations about how dark baby Archie's skin might be. Yep, skin tone. She claimed those talks were part of why Archie wasn't getting a title or royal protection. That one claim? It set off global headlines and nonstop debate. People were shocked, outraged, and suddenly, the monarchy's carefully polished image started cracking for real.
More ridiculous. There's a clip where she emails her young kids every night, even though they're there. Let's take a look.
And so I'd created for the kids these email addresses that sort of like names, again, that you would never guess, that I will give them at some point in their lives when they're older. But before I go to bed almost every night, I email them.
Wow.
I email because it doesn't have to be a heavy lift, and you email them like, here's your report card from today, or oh my gosh, you said the funniest thing this morning, or here's a picture of you two having breakfast, or here's you playing with the dog. The things that you're not going to frame, the things that you're not going to put pen to paper in a journal, but they will end up at one point in their life, maybe when they're 16 or when they're 18, that I say, here's an email that I've been keeping for you.
Because that's really what you want when you're 18. 40,000 emails, Maureen, from your mother about every time you burped in public. You know what?
And just when things couldn't get any more awkward, Prince William and Princess Kate hopped on a plane for their big Caribbean goodwill tour. But instead of calming things down, it turned into what critics now call the disaster tour. The whole vibe was off. What was supposed to be a celebration for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee ended up looking like something out of a colonial flashback. One photo in particular went viral for all the wrong reasons. William and Kate grinning from a vintage Land Rover while a group of black children stood behind a chain-link fence. The image was brutal. Protests erupted across Belize, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. People were done. The message was loud and clear. The royal family still hadn't learned a thing.
An idea, but actually it was going back right to the beginning when we were looking at the different ways in which we could all work with the foundation. And I suppose I'd learnt through sort of meeting some of my patronages that there was sort of all these underlying causes across so many different sectors. Mental health just kept on flagging up every time, whether it's with addiction or school support, and with vulnerable young children. So it's something that I felt very passionate about. It's obviously such a huge topic. It wasn't as big as I actually thought it was, but it was something that I think all three of us at the time felt that we really could make a far bigger impact together on, rather than just one of us acting alone on it.
It would be interesting to find out, first of all, your impressions of the Royal Foundation so far and what you're hoping to do. Don't be too critical.
Yeah, no, of course. Well, obviously it's incredibly exciting, and yes, I think for me it's been a very long time working on cause-driven work.
After walking away from royal duties in 2020 and setting up shop in the U.S., Prince Harry started fighting hard to get his full security detail reinstated. But when the court told him no, he didn't hold back. He reportedly called the whole thing a classic establishment stitch-up. According to Harry, this wasn't just a legal loss, it was a full-on setup. He hinted that the royal household might have been moving pieces behind the scenes to make sure he came out on the losing end. That's some serious backroom tea.
We have a bunch of stats, but let me show that last one that he believes they want him dead.
I want history to repeat itself. I think there's a lot of other people out there, the majority, they also don't want history to repeat itself. Through this disclosure process, I've discovered that some people want history to repeat itself, which is pretty dark.
That's quite a statement. Who do you think that is?
I'm not going to share it at this point. You know, I know all the names of the people that were involved in this process, and again, you know, you have to question, why wasn't I put through the same risk management board that everybody else was put through?
So the reason they won't pay for his ongoing security when he visits the UK is because they want him dead, Dan.
I know, this is now paranoia and delusion on an actual terrifying scale.
When someone asked if he ever wanted King Charles to step in and help smooth things over, Harry made it crystal clear. He didn't want help. What he wanted was for the king to step aside and let the legal experts handle it without royal interference. And to Harry, the whole legal mess only confirmed what he already feared, that there was no real system protecting him. Instead, it felt like he was being iced out, not just as a prince, but as a person. It was less about legal red tape and more about betrayal by the very system he was born into.
Let's do Prince Harry on his divorce rumors.
I Googled you, and there were people who are fascinated by everything you're doing all the time. They're fascinated by Meghan is in California right now, and you're here, and there's articles left and right about, why are you doing independent events? Why aren't you doing them together?
Because you invited me, you should have known.
This is true.
You should have known that was going to happen.
But do you know, is that normal for you? That the second there's an article that says she's in California, you're in New York, they say, well, what is happening with these two, right? So is that a good thing for you in a way that there's so much interest in you?
No, there's definitely not a good thing. Because apparently we've bought or moved house maybe 10, 12 times. It's hard to keep up with, but that's why you just sort of ignore it. The people I feel most sorry about are the trolls who their hopes are just built and built and built. And it's like, yes. And then it doesn't happen. Right. So I feel sorry for them.
For Harry, this whole security issue cuts deep. It's not just about protocol or paperwork. It's about personal safety. He said flat out that without full protection, he doesn't feel safe stepping foot back in the UK. The only time he's willing to go back when he's officially invited by the palace, because that's the only way he knows security will be locked in. No invite, no visit. That's where things stand. So what do you think? Is this all just coincidence, or is there something much deeper going on behind palace doors? Is Meghan playing the long game, or is the media spinning the story? And do you believe Harry's security fight is about safety, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because we're dying to know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss the next round of royal chaos. The drama's far from over, and we'll be here to spill it all. Stay tuned.